Always one of my favorite offbeat subjects, talking about what's out there. Intelligent and highly advanced life might be secretly living here on Earth with the rest of us, according to top researchers from Montana Tech and also from Harvard. A new paper published by these researchers hypothesizes UFO sightings might reflect activities of intelligent beings concealed in stealth here on Earth, or for example, underground, they say, even potentially, or walking among us, meaning passing us as humans. Interesting. Now, we hear about this as we receive new information about a 7-minute encounter between a glowing blue barbell-shaped UFO, half the length of a football field in size. It came from 3 witnesses, including a Pentagon engineering contractor. This happened in southwestern Ontario in August 2013, about 11 years ago. One of the witnesses describing an indigo plasma that covered most of this craft, claiming the craft rotated slowly for about 6 or 7 minutes while emitting an electrical spark-like shower. One witness attempted to film the craft with his camera phone, only to get static when he did, despite the camera working before and after the encounter. So that's the claims here. Now on screen, you're seeing a rendition and a sketch of what they saw that day, the shape of what they saw. I mean, they said 6 or 7 minutes it sat there. The craft eventually shot off at, they say, an incredible speed. Robert Powell is a UFO investigator who traveled to meet with the Pentagon contractor, spoke to him firsthand about exactly what he saw, and he joins us now. Robert, thank you so much for coming on. What exactly did you learn when you spoke to this man, and what's new on this story?
Well, the main reason I flew up to meet with the guy is I wanted to verify that he was who he said he was.
Yeah.
I thought it was a very interesting story. Not only did you have 3 witnesses, but the primary witness was an engineer who had contracts with the Pentagon. And what's really interesting is you have an object that's not aerodynamic, right? So if you wanted to make up a story about a UFO, why would you say it looked like a barbell? Right.
Right.
You know,
doesn't make any sense.
Who's going to believe that?
Yeah. I mean, it's they say they tried to film it and the camera just failed. That they had that. You know, I mean, that's interesting that there would be some kind of technology. It's like a blocker, I guess.
Well, actually, the scientist, I agree with him, is he feels that it was just a byproduct of that blue indigo field around the object. It was not necessarily intentional. Yeah. The other thing, he initially turned on his cell phone to try to take a photo. And his cell phone went into a boot up mode, so he couldn't use his cell phone. And so then he took his Sony camera. When he first used it, he turned it on, and it immediately turned off. And what he did next is he began to observe the object through the telescopic view of his hunting rifle he happened to have with him. And then later on, the object moved farther away. And once it moved farther away, he turned his Sony video camera back on. Wow. And he could see it through the camera. Then the camera stayed on, but the video was scrambled, but you could hear the audio.
It's so crazy to hear these stories, and there's so many of these stories. And again, they come from these credible people. I still remember, hearing on 60 Minutes from these, they're like, naval pilots that have seen things that they just can't explain, and the way it moved. There's no way a trajectory could change like that at that speed. It's amazing to hear. You've got Harvard and Montana Tech scientists hypothesizing that aliens might be living among us on this planet. We also have a new report out that NASA's been looking tentatively in our own backyard in the solar system for signs that Earth is not the only place of life near us. Let's start with, the potential that they could be among us, that maybe there's a dimension that we can't see or experience in some way, and that we're surrounded by life that we just can't see, touch, or feel.
Yeah, I've seen no evidence that there's aliens among us, in other words, on our planet. I've seen plenty of evidence that there's indication that extraterrestrial craft have moved through our atmosphere. And that's based on the speed, the movement, the acceleration. But I don't know that I can, go with the aliens among us part.
Yeah, that's a tough one for me to believe too. But when I look out at all those stars, it is hard for me to think that there's not something out there looking back somewhere. Robert Powell, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.